Look, there's certain narratives that the world wants us to believe so that we feel comfortable and safe, but also so that we don't step out of line and so that we're easier to control and manipulate. Today, though, we're putting an end to that. The good news is if you can become aware of these narratives and actually learn to understand the truth, even though it's a difficult pill to swallow, all of a sudden you remove your ceiling for growth and the sky is the limit. Number one, new levels, new devils. One of the biggest myths in life is the learning curve. It's this idea that you just have to go to school, get your degree, then you get your first job, you go through your job training, and then you're good, bro. You're good, you can just coast. And that's a very attractive idea that appeals to us because all of us want to be able to get to that place where we climbed the mountain, we feel accomplished, and now we can rest. Unfortunately though, it's 1000% bullshit. Like back in my early 20s, I remember when I wanted to get good with women. First, I thought I just have to overcome this approach anxiety. I just have to learn to confidently approach girls. And after some months of a lot of rejection and embarrassment, I was able to do that. But then I realized, fuck man, I don't really know how to ask her out and get her number. And then even once I learned that, I was like, well, how do I actually get this girl out on a date with me? And then once I did that, I didn't know what to do on the date. With each new level, I had to confront a new devil. And each subsequent level was more challenging than the previous one. Like it's a lot easier to attract a hot girl than to know how to actually lead that forward the right way into a healthy relationship. Very few guys can do that. And even with business or YouTube, it's the same thing. I grinded my ass off for a year on this channel to get up to like 50,000 subscribers. And I was super proud of myself. And then guess what? It plateaued. What I did to get me there was not getting me to the next step. And this might be the most difficult lesson that I've ever had to internalize in life. That essentially I have to be okay feeling like a complete noob who doesn't know what the fuck I'm doing over and over and over again. And every ounce of my body hates that because I have an ego and I want to feel like, you know, I've built myself to this point where I deserve respect and I should keep seeing the progress because of all the hard work that I put in over the last 15 years, bro. But also now I know the reality that the moment that I feel successful and accomplished, that's the moment that I peg myself to the current level that I'm at and that I accept that I'm never going to reach the next level. Number two, your vices are not okay. But David, bro, I can just jerk off once per week and control myself. It's okay to watch a little bit of porn. But David, I can just play video games 1 hour each day. I'm not ruled by it. But David, I can just have that one glass of alcohol. It's not that big of a deal, bro. A weak man will always avoid setting hard boundaries with himself because he tells himself the lie that, no, don't worry, bro, I can control it. And this is something that destroyed me for years because it destroys our ability to trust ourselves. Like, how the fuck am I going to start a business or go, you know, approach that girl, change my dating life, make more money if I can't even trust myself to cut off a bad habit? Like, that's such a simple thing. If I can't trust myself to do that, I'm never gonna get momentum anywhere else. Unfortunately, you can't just jump from level 0 to 1,000. You can't just start making $1 million per month the next year. You have to build the trust in yourself to be able to make those large bets on yourself. And the easiest way to do this, and it's not easy, is to completely cut out your vices. No, just once in a while it's okay. No, hard boundary, this is not fucking okay anymore. Because I know that by cutting this out, not only are there positive benefits from not jerking off, for example, but the main positive benefit comes from you finally learn to trust yourself. And once you have that trust, you finally have actual confidence that your future self is gonna be able to figure shit out and accomplish more than you could ever dream of. So whatever your vices are, porn, video games, drugs, staying up late, whatever they are, they end today. Number three, money equals value created. I used to always think that rich people were low-key evil, like they were in the back of the sweatshop whipping their workers into place, or I thought that they were just lucky and, you know, the perfect opportunity came their way and that's why they're rich. But fuck them. Now I can see that that was another false narrative. It was my own jealousy and envy creating this story in my head so I could feel good about myself. Because here's the thing you have to understand about money. How do you make money? You make money by creating something of value that people then trade their money for. That's all money is, a store of value. When you go into work, you're doing some service for your boss that creates value for him, so he's going to pay you. He's going to trade his money for your hours. With my clothing brand, Edge Lifestyle, for example, we create clothes that people want. They see value in them, so they trade their cash for the clothes. That's why they can afford the big house and the Lambo. Not because they're rich and they're evil. No, because they created the value that's allowed them to now have the funds to buy those things. And I don't know about you, but personally, I believe that that should be a man's goal, to create value for for the world. It just so happens that you get rewarded for this value, which makes sense. Capitalism makes sense, right? Now, I will say that my philosophy has always been focusing on the value I'm creating a product or a service that I know is going to be really dope for a certain target demographic, rather than like looking at my balance sheets and my spreadsheets every month, seeing how we can optimize profits. I don't do that shit. I don't like to get obsessed with the monetary aspect of it. I don't think that's mentally healthy. I think that can lead to greed. Luckily, when you focus just on the value, you still get rewarded for it. And the point is not to worship money and to make all your goals to get a Lambo. The point is just to understand how it works. Now, look, I will say that if you feel powerless with your money right now, like you can't grow, there's no room to grow in your career maybe, well, that means that you need to learn a new skill that can offer more value to someone so you can get paid more. It's really simple. Like my brother was teaching English lessons to foreigners, which is not that valuable of a skill. A lot of people do it. And then he went and he learned the skill of programming, and then immediately got a much higher wage because that's a higher value skill. And that's why I recently partnered with Course Careers. That's a place where you can go to quickly learn a high leverage skill like technology sales. You can take their course and then you can quickly get a job with a starting salary from 60 to 80K. They got a bunch of testimonials on their website you can watch of other people's success stories. And because I'm partnered with them, if you click the first link in description, you can get $50 off the full course. Just click that first link in description to learn more and get started now. Number 4, women are not good or evil. A really disturbing narrative that's taken place over the last few years is that weak men have been convinced that women are to blame for all of society's problems. Because guess what? It's easier to just blame women and not even have to try in your dating life than taking responsibility and taking the mindset that, guess what? I'm gonna build myself into such a fucking G that I'm not only gonna be able to attract top level women, but I'm gonna be the type of guy who can set hard boundaries with them, and they will accept those boundaries, and I can form the exact type of relationship that I want. If you're an average dude and you tell a girl, hey, I don't want you hanging out with any other guys, they're gonna say, all right, bro. And that's just a modern reality. It's not women's fault. It's not men's fault. But if you are a top level guy and you say, hey, I don't really want you hanging out with other guys, I'm not cool with that, they're gonna say, okay, for you, I'm down. But it is a whole lot easier to blame female nature or the recent divorce statistics. It's easier to do that than to look inside and accept the challenge of finding and building a healthy relationship with an attractive, cool girl. That's a lot harder. If you're not up for the challenge, I get it, bro. Take the easy path. But think about it this way for a second. If you truly trusted yourself to be able to rebuild your life, even if you got cheated on or dumped, or worse, you got divorced and you lost 50% of your assets. If you trusted yourself that, hey, you know what? I could go back to being single and I could grind myself right back to where I was with my confidence, with my money, whatever. If you had that belief in yourself, then why are you so scared anyway? Accept the challenge. That being said, obviously learn to look out for red flags and green flags and lead the relationship properly forward. Don't just like hop into a relationship just because. Who cares if I get cheated on? No, be fucking smart. But at the same time, bet on yourself in all areas of life. Number 5, looks matter. So if you walked into a room and you saw, let's say, Wes Watson, and then you saw Graham Stephan, how are you gonna treat these two guys? You're gonna treat them the same? You're gonna talk to them the same? Obviously not. And look, I have a lot of respect for Graham Stephan. I think he's an amazing content creator. He has an insane level of financial knowledge, makes some great investments. But at the same time, we can recognize that he has not put a lot of effort into crafting and leveling up his physical appearance. And worrying about your looks, a lot of men would say, nah, that's just vain or stupid, or that's feminine. That's just another weak narrative. It's another excuse of the weak. I used to think this way because I didn't want to accept the challenge of trying to look better. And in my mind, life is self-improvement. The purpose of life is improving myself to the point where I'm able to offer even more value to the world around me. I truly believe that that is the purpose of life. And if you agree, and right now you're on the path of self-improvement, which I don't think you'd be watching this far into this video if you weren't, I think that's an amazing thing and you should be super proud of yourself. But then you also need to look at your physical appearance the same way. This is just another venue for self-improvement. And it's even more than that because it's also how the world perceives you. You judge a book by its fucking cover, whether you want to or not. So when you walk into the room, you want people to already have a certain level of respect for you, and you want them to already see you as a certain level of man, because that's going to allow you to have a bigger impact. Like, that is the way that we change the world for the better. We create more strong men with strong morals and strong virtues who can influence others. So if you haven't been going to the gym, how can you realistically look in the mirror and tell yourself that you're on the path of self-improvement? You're not. You're making the choice not to improve yourself. If you're still wearing clothes from 2 or 3 years ago and you're not updating your style to craft a certain image, how can you truly tell yourself you're on the path of self-improvement? You're not. Number 6, porn is not just a bad habit. So look, I think we can all agree there are a lot of bad potential side effects from this bad habit. ED, removing your motivation to actually go out in the world and meet real women. It wastes your time, it kills your energy. But it's even deeper than that, because you have to realize our masculine drive to compete, evolutionarily, it is rooted in the competition to become the best man so that we can attract the best mate and we can have the best genes to pass on to our kids. And in today's world where you can just flip open your screen, throw it here, and do a little bit of this, yeah, it feels good. Yeah, it's convenient, bro. Maybe you can sidestep some of the bad side effects like ED, for example, but it's still gonna fuck you. At the end of the day, it's still going to remove that deep masculine drive to compete and improve yourself, no matter how you try and rationalize this. And I always see comments of people trying to rationalize, yeah, bro, it's really not that big of a deal. It's just like weak, no-fap dudes trying to sell us some BS on YouTube. And that kind of ties back to what we were talking about at the beginning. You can tell yourself whatever you want, but at the end of the day, you're only breaking the trust that you have with yourself. You can't quit a bad habit. You'll never trust yourself. That being said, if you're a man who's on the way up and you have big goals, you need to watch this video next. It's about 5 things a man should never do in his life. These are major pitfalls that will completely destroy your growth if you're not careful. Click there to watch that now. And if you're new to the channel, click down there to subscribe, because I release 2 new videos every single week and you don't want to miss them. I'll talk to you in the next video. Stay beastly.